September's around the corner, which means that your favorite tech YouTubers, they're not going to be getting very much sleep over the next few months. Now, as it's all but certain, we will be getting new iPhones next month. But Apple also has other products that are rumored to debut at the upcoming September event. So let's talk about what's around the corner and if you should hold out for that one more thing. Why beat around the bush, huh? The iPhone is Apple's biggest product and likely the reason that you clicked on this video. And I think it may be helpful to remember what last year's iPhone models brought, because it wasn't a whole lot. On the standard iPhone 13, we saw OLED panel brightness increases, and the main camera sensor was upgraded to support sensor shift. That's that OIS technology that was introduced with the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Now, the 13 Pro phones, they received camera improvements across the board, and they also received brand new LTPO displays that supported not just 120Hz high refresh rate ProMotion, but also supported lowering the refresh rate to 10 Hz, which helped improve battery life quite a bit. Now, all phones got a 20% smaller Face ID notch, with the earpiece moving up to the phone's frame. They got the A15 SoC, there were battery improvements across the board, and all models received the cinematic mode inside of the camera app, a mode that I don't think I've used yet. Now, in 2022, there will still be 4 new iPhone models. However, they will no longer come in 3 sizes, because sadly, there will be no iPhone 14 mini. Now, it's expected that the 13 mini will remain in the lineup, but the standard iPhone 14 will release with a new running mate, a larger iPhone 14 Max. This gives both the Pro and non-Pro phone segments the same size options, 6.1 and 6.7 inches respectively. Now, the standard models are expected to bring very few changes. Visually, it'll appear identical. Same notch, same form factor, lightning port, and all. Really, the 14 non-Pro Max will be the star. So the changes, they surely must be internal then, right? Well, for the first time ever, maybe not. Apple is expected to forgo an SoC upgrade in the non-Pro models. They will retain the use of the A15 Bionic, if reliable iPhone leaker Ming-Chi Kuo is to be believed. He's also been backed up by a lot of other leakers that corroborate the same. So then what the heck is new on this new phone? Well, rumors suggest really only 3 changes: an improved ultra-wide camera, an improved front-facing camera, and 6 gigs of memory, up from 4 gigs. Now, part of me has to believe that this isn't all we can expect. It would make it the smallest year-over-year update to the iPhone ever in 15 years. Now, Apple doesn't seem too worried about demand, as they've reportedly ordered 90 million units from suppliers. But the thing about supply chain hardware leaks is that they're generally pretty reliable. And as we near closer and closer to launch day, leakers are becoming more and more adamant about the lack of changes. So I have to imagine, and I hope, that there is some big new software feature to warrant the new model's existence. Otherwise, the standard iPhone 14 is a nothing burger, and the 14 Max is maybe justifiable for those that can't afford the Pro. But at that point, why not get the 13 Pro? It has the same SoC and better cameras. I don't know, it's confusing. And so I know what you're thinking. Surely the new software feature must be an always-on display. This is one of the most surefire features for the new iPhone models. It has been rumored for over 2 years, and iOS developers have actually found evidence of its existence in the iOS 16 developer betas. It is happening, we are getting it. But here's the problem. All signs point to it necessitating an LTPO screen that can display always-on information without taking a major hit to that battery life. You need a low refresh screen. And this means that, yes, it will likely be an exclusive feature to the iPhone 14 Pro models, as will a bevy of other hardware features. The notch, for example, is finally going to be replaced with something that I don't really know is all that much better: a hole punch. But not really, because Apple needs to make room for both the front camera and Face ID. A new generation of Face ID will shrink the space that's required, but ultimately there will be an eye for iPhone, both a pill and a hole for your little soul. Now, this will certainly look new, and the quantity of pixels on screen will increase as a result. But save for video viewing content at full screen, I really wouldn't expect this newfound real estate to be utilized all that much. I mean, anyone that owns an iPhone with a notch knows that you kind of just forget about it because there isn't anything placed up there. And it's certain to be the same with the pill. It'll be neat visually, but practically, likely very similar. Now, the other big changes will be related to the camera assembly that, yes, will be getting even bigger than on the iPhone 13 Pro series. Ming-Chi Kuo suggests that the main camera, the wide camera, will house a 48 megapixel sensor, and that the phone will allow you to shoot 8K video. And while I personally trust Kuo for hardware rumors, I just don't for software. I don't see a scenario in which the user is able to choose how photos are taken. If 48 megapixel photos are captured at all, it will only be done in the most ideal circumstances, with every other scenario defaulting back to a pixel binned 12 megapixel shot. Now, photos will still look better than the iPhone 13 Pro, but don't think for a second that Apple will compromise sensitivity and increase noise for a mere bump in resolution. They never have, and they're not going to start. Now, as for 8K video, I can see this being a toggle in camera settings, maybe for marketing's sake, but it just doesn't really make any sense. Resolution is not a limiting factor in the iPhone's current video abilities, and the enormous increases in file sizes would be so egregious that I won't be surprised if 8K shooting is never even offered as an option. Why? Well, because it's dumb. Now, Apple is also expected to make major improvements to the telephoto lens, and I would welcome this because I really like the idea of the tighter focal length found on those telephoto lenses, but they always took an okay, not very great 2x shot on the iPhone 12 and prior generations. And then they made it even worse moving to a 3x zoom for the iPhone 13. I know that they wanted to make the camera tighter, and I love the new 70mm equivalent, but it's so noisy and so soft that I never shoot with it. Making it better should be a top priority, and the iPhone 14 Pro may well do that. Now, unlike the standard iPhone 14, the new Pro models are expected to receive a new chip, the A16. But it's still going to be built on the N5P process that was used in the A15, which was a modified process from the A14. So expect the performance improvements to be very slight. What's more likely to affect system performance overall and make these phones faster is LPDDR5 memory, a new X65 Qualcomm modem, and a potentially redesigned cooling system that could allow for more thermal headroom on the chip itself. Color me a little bit skeptical, but I'm super interested on that last bit. Now, most of the juicy rumors like USB-C, a periscope lens, in-house modem chips, and an under-display Face ID assembly, those are all expected for next year and beyond. This year is not likely to bring improvements so massive that you feel the need to upgrade from an iPhone 13 series model. And frankly, if you're looking for a new phone, you might consider just saving some dough and buying an iPhone 13 Pro on discount, especially considering the iPhone 14 Pro is likely to have a price hike. And when you do upgrade your phone, you should really consider Case-to-Find. Megan, my wife, was stoked when they reached out to sponsor because she has been a fan and user of their cases for years, in particular their Impact and their Ultra Impact series. Now, the name is not marketing BS, trust me. She has dropped her phone billions of times over. These cases really are designed to withstand drops, up to 9.8 feet, in fact. And that's thanks to the shock dispersing material that lines the case bumper, protecting all four corners. At only 13 millimeters thin, it's great because you get a lot of protection without feeling like you're carrying around a massive brick. And the protection doesn't stop at drops. The Defensify antimicrobial coating keeps 99% of bacteria away, and they do so using 65% recycled and plant-based materials in 100% recycled packaging with non-toxic soy ink. The cases are wireless charging compatible, they don't inhibit the use of cellular 5G networks, and they offer endless print options. You can choose from a selection of cool curated prints, or you can customize your own case, like we did, for a truly unique style that's totally you. Use my link below to save 15% at checkout and get the best protection in the thinnest impact-rated case there is. September events don't just bring new iPhones, but they bring new Apple Watch models too. Now, the Apple Watch has had a weird couple of years. The Series 7 that was released last year, the one I'm wearing, offered very little new over its predecessor, with just a small chip upgrade, a slightly larger screen, and faster charging. That's it. We haven't seen a new health sensor on an Apple Watch since the Series 6. That brought blood oxygen, but that may be changing this year. Mark Gurman of Bloomberg says that the Series 8 will yet again not bring a new design. However, it will bring a new body temperature sensor. Now, the sensor, unfortunately, will not give you a real-time temperature readout, but it will alert you, allegedly, when it detects elevated temperature levels. Beyond the new sensor and potentially a slightly brighter display, the only change that we're expected to see on the new Series 8 is a new S8 SoC. No design upgrades and no form factor changes. But not all hope for change is lost. It's expected that Apple will release its first Apple Watch Pro for those that want really, really accurate professional time. Kidding. It's alleged to appeal to Garmin purchasers with a focus on rugged, likely a squared design that was rumored last year. It'll feature an even larger 46 to 47 millimeter, hideous, more shatter-resistant display, and will be better for hiking and swim tracking. It's alleged to have a much longer battery life, a rugged case made from titanium, and more. This new wrist-sporting behemoth is expected to start at a mind-numbing $900 plus, maybe $999. If that offends you, like it does me, maybe you'll be pleased to hear that the abominable Series 3 that they have no business selling and have had no business selling for years now will finally be killed. And the less ancient but still outdated Apple Watch SE will be updated. The new SE will retain the same old screen size, however, it will inherit the new S8 SoC and all but the newest body temperature sensor. It's also expected to retain its its existing $279 price point, which is nice. That might actually make the SE the best new Apple Watch model this year. I know people are excited for the Pro, okay, just not me. You really want a phone attached to your wrist? 47 millimeters is huge. And now we get to AirPods. I have purchased every AirPods model ever released. I've done reviews on almost all of them. And there's really only one model that I truly love, that I would struggle giving up. And that's the AirPods Pro. It has been 3 years since the release of AirPods Pro, and many users that bought on launch day are experiencing unfortunate but inevitable decreases in battery life, output volume, or they've been stupid like me and put them through the washing machine. Twice. Early last year, after their second accidental wash, my left earpiece started making this ugly hissing noise when in noise cancellation or transparency mode, and so I've just been using them in their passive off state for almost 18 months. If I had known that it would have taken that long for new ones to come out, well, I'd have bought another pair back then, but I didn't. And so I've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and we may finally well see AirPods 2 this September. Pro 2. Nearly a year ago, rumors surfaced about a redesigned case, and in the following year, more and more leakers have corroborated the design. The case will contain the necessary hardware to ping itself with the Find My network, instead of the current behavior, which is, well, it only allows individual earbuds to be found when they are not in their case and also not asleep. It'll be way more helpful. And to assist in finding those lost AirPods, the charge case will integrate a speaker so that it can be audibly pinged, similar to AirTags. I've never lost individual AirPods before because I will always put them back in the case, but I would often lose the case. So this will be a hugely welcomed addition. Now the case is also expected to integrate a hole for attaching a strap to the case. Okay. Well, while I won't use this, it surely will be handy for people that want to leave AirPods attached to a keyring or a bag. There are a lot of third-party cases that offer this functionality, and people buy those cases for this purpose. So, small, but a nice addition. Now, the AirPods themselves are expected to remain mostly unchanged. Both Gurman and Kuo stated last year that Apple was working on a stemless design. However, both have backtracked on that statement and said that Apple expects to retain the stems. Now, Kuo mentions that the new AirPods will get potential driver upgrades and that they'll be the first product in Apple's AirPods lineup to offer lossless audio playback. And this is something that I am very suspicious of. I talked about this a lot in my AirPods Max review, which you should go check out, but there is currently no audio codec that works over Bluetooth that supports lossless audio. The closest is Sony's LDAC. However, it still doesn't quite reach 16-bit lossless, and it's otherwise a trash codec. It uses an insane amount of data and compromises range, latency, and connection stability to do so. Most Android phones reduce the bitrate to improve range and latency, and the iPhone straight up doesn't even support it. So Qualcomm's aptX HD, AAC, which is used by Apple, and LLAC, which was created by Huawei, are all better alternatives. Alas, frankly, like LDAC, they're all lossy. Now, as a contrast, Apple Music's 16-bit lossless bitrate is 2.62 megabits per second, which exceeds the Bluetooth theoretical maximum transfer rate of 2 megabits per second. And that's the theoretical maximum. Practically, it's much smaller. What I'm saying is that Bluetooth ain't supporting lossless audio anytime soon. This means that if Apple were to do new AirPods Pro with lossless capabilities, they would need to be using another transmission method. Perhaps giving the buds Wi-Fi and using the AirPlay protocol. Who's to say, but in my opinion, it would be a lot of effort for meaningless results. The reality is that bitrate is far down the list of advancements that would make noticeable gains to the sound quality on AirPods Pro. Updating the amplifiers or the drivers would result in far greater improvements to fidelity than sending lossless bitrate source files to unworthy vessels. And that's pretty much it. This might not be the biggest year ever for new product releases, especially in the range of affordable, non-Pro devices. And now that I think about it, every product line Apple sells has a Pro model, with the Apple Watch Pro now existing. Anyways, I'm hoping Apple has something else up their sleeve for September. And if they don't, well, it seems like the rest of the year might have some surprises in store. What do you think we'll see? Leave your comment down below, and as always, stay snazzy.